Welcome back to the Matrix Green Pearl podcast. I'm your host, Hilmarie Hutchison, and today we're joined once again by Sean Morris, co-founder of the Sports Impact Summit. Sean returns to share how Sports Impact continues to lead in bridging sport, sustainability and technology, especially in light of the UAE's new federal decree, Law Number 11 of 2024, on the reduction of climate change effects. With major developments on the horizon, including the Sports Impact Summit 2025 in Abu Dhabi and a new AI-powered platform in the works, this conversation promises to offer vital insights into the intersection of policy, purpose, and innovation. Sean, welcome back, and thank you again for joining me today.
Well, Hilmarie, great pleasure and honoured to be back, so thank you.
Well, it's great to have you back. For those who might not know you or Sports Impact or the Sports Impact Summit, can you give us a quick refresher on what Sports Impact is and what it stands for?
Yes, well, Sport Impact really has got a very simple mission. It's a pioneering event and media business. We specialise in the intersection between sport and sustainability with a heavy focus on human health because we feel that leverages directly into the planet's health. And really, we blend a unique expertise in sport. I've spent 35 years in sport with the sort of science and educational side of sustainability. So we try and use the power of sport to transform the storytelling and the educational opportunities around sustainability, frankly, to try and inspire action and create a lasting impact.
It is an amazing initiative that you've started because, as we spoke about the last time you were on the podcast, the sport has such a big impact on the world and you can reach so many people. So to have this program of education to try and get people to understand about sustainability at the same time is absolutely brilliant. So let's dive straight into it. What is this new UAE climate law that we're hearing about, and why is it a significant development for businesses and sustainability leaders?
It's a really interesting moment because you've obviously seen in the region the sort of COP story from back in the day, and large commitments were made. These questions have been asked about, are they genuine? Is it really happening? And how is it going to be implemented? I think it's amazing how clear the direction of travel is. It hosted COP, a couple of years ago, and now we're implementing legal regulation, which is going to force all companies, all organizations, behave in a way that starts to be more aligned with the overall climate and sustainability commitments. And, we've all talked for a while about, regulation is coming. What are we going to do about it? Well, regulation is now here. It's probably arrived faster than many think. So I'm truly excited about what the opportunity presents as a result of leadership putting in very clear regulations saying you've got to accurately calculate and track your emissions. You've got to report on it and tell us what your strategies and plans to mitigate it. I mean, it couldn't be simpler and clearer than that.
That's excellent. As you say, people are often very skeptical about promises and commitments made at things like the COP events. So to see that there is something being done, this law is helping to set something in motion so that the regulation is in alignment with the commitments made. But as you also say, it's leadership that needs to take the first step. They need to show the way. What role do you see sports organizations playing in the successful implementation of this law?
It's a very fair question. But actually, if you take things like Ministry of Sports councils, federations, let's say, governing bodies, they have the ability to push this down through their stakeholders. And there's a lot of them. Talking to the chairman of the Olympic Committee in the UAE last week, they've got 25 associated sports just linking into that one office. In practice, all 25 would have to conform. That's an exciting opportunity on one side, but also it presents a lot of challenges because, as you would imagine, some of those organizations are big. It might be, say, football, but then you may have a much, much smaller organization like taekwondo. So we're going to get into this classic, one size doesn't fit all, but we need sport to come together and all participate in any way, shape, or form that they can to A, comply and conform with the regulation, but B, contribute to the net result. And I think that's the exciting bit for me.
Yes, you are clearly excited and very positive about the changes that are coming in. How is sport impact directly supporting the objectives of the new climate law?
Well, I think probably on two sides. So, sport impact, essentially, our position on it will be to help educate, drive awareness about what is required, and showcase the world's best examples of what is possible. So, as that platform, Sport Impact sits sort of over the top and says, look, here are people that are doing it really well. Here are examples that you can copy and apply. And here's why we think it's a good idea, and hopefully it gets rolled out, and we can help support that through driving awareness. So that's one way to support it. The other way is essentially through, I guess, to answer the question as well, how do you go about it? Because that's almost the toughest question to answer. And this is where I think it does get exciting again, because as I said, you've got different sizes of organizations and therefore lots of different resources, many of which have not previously been able to commit to accurately measuring their emissions. It's not cheap. That for me has been a major hurdle to this. So we have worked with a partner scoreboard, been developing some AI software for some time, and we will be integrating scoreboard into Sport Impact, and participants and all of our clubs and teams and audiences can join through Sport Impact straight into scoreboard. That is probably the answer to, well, how do I go about it?
Yes, so you are not only on the education and the awareness side, which is what you've always been proponent of, but you've also taken it further to actually find solutions for the thing that's the most difficult of this, which is the accurately measuring emissions. So you're taking some definite steps.
There's now an increasing amount of volume, shall we say, in this space around sport. I notice other organizations are talking much more openly about their sustainability challenges, their sustainability performances. That's brilliant. We all to see the sort of tide rising on that. The problem has been for the operators and the sustainability managers in these teams and in these federations. Okay, well, how do I do it? Because there is a limited amount of expertise in this space. Frankly, it's a young category, and therefore, you have a limited amount of resource, and people haven't been in these sustainability positions for very long, and therefore you need support for that. Also, how it is perceived in sports organizations. Sustainability is often perceived as a cost center. It's somewhere near HR and operations most of the time, with the rare exception of something like CLGP. It's difficult for the person sitting there to go, well, okay, I can calculate these emissions. So I'll give you an example of a case study. We took a sports team, cricket team, through the process of measuring their emissions. If you do it quickly, it takes 3 months. The cost of that is $30,000 for an external consultancy to come in. And let's be honest, the vast majority of sports organizations can't afford that. That's where you have a blockage. And we wanted to remove that and take a 90-day average time frame and deliver the same results in 90 minutes. And that's what AI has enabled us to do. And that's why it's now much more affordable, and we can roll it out across the entire sports ecosystem.
That's absolutely amazing. So you are answering the question of how and also making it more cost effective at the same time. You mentioned the partnerships. I want to get into the AI part, but let me first ask you about your partnership with HOCO. What does this collaboration mean for Sport Impact, and how does it enhance your mission?
Well, we've had rather an exciting start to the year, Hilmarie, because HOCO and Sport Impact have been talking to each other since actually before the 2024 summit. HOCO are based in Dubai, but they're an internationally recognized event experience agency. And they have their own IP in IOCO, which is super, super premium Formula One hospitality. So they currently operate at 16 Formula One races a year, and they work with some of the biggest names in world sport. So that might be LVMH, it might be OKX, the FIA. So what this partnership does is it gives us a platform to take Sport Impact global very fast. So the first event we'll be doing will actually be in Singapore together. We then come back to Abu Dhabi. So within the next 12 months, we will be in 4 different continents. And that's what's really exciting us about it. We've got expertise in operating in those markets through HOCO. And Obviously, we've got the story and the sustainability commitments and expertise we have that we can roll out. So it's perhaps earlier than we anticipated, but it really accelerates our mission of reaching 1 billion people.
That's brilliant. So that is a really good collaboration to have that partnership with them. And as you say, it's going to help you reach the audience that you want to reach much quicker. That's excellent. So let's come back to the talk about AI. You mentioned AI a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more about the upcoming AI platform that Sport Impact is working on, and how will it help organizations within and beyond the sports sector to stay compliant and sustainable under the new regulations?
First things you have to look at is what are the problems? And as we touched on, one of them is it's too expensive and takes too long. I mean, that's a pretty clear problem. And there's sports organizations are struggling to track or benchmark. And if you can't track or benchmark, how do you improve your sustainability performance? And that's very consistent with Sport Impact around getting more players on the pitch. We almost need to know what's the score in order for us to decide, do we need more people in decarbonisation? Do we need more people in creating awareness? So that's essentially what Scoreboard is there to do, is to solve that first problem. And the other thing it does, which I think is really interesting, is if you look at all the measurements that you see, including ones we've done in the past, you're always measuring last year's performance because that's where the data comes from. Scoreboard measures real-time performance. You could actually put in this month's energy bills, you can put in this month's travel and tell you exactly what your footprint is live. Now, that is significant because it enables you to take immediate action and therefore change your results, which is much, much more linked to how you play sport. You don't look at, you can look back at last year's results, but you can't, that doesn't mean you can change how you're going to play next month, right? That's one of the most important parts of it. It's live. It enables you to benchmark yourselves against some of the best in the world. So if you're a football club, you could benchmark yourself against, say, Liverpool or Manchester City. And they're obviously doing some great stuff. And then you can go, okay, well, how do I get better? So essentially, it's much, much faster. It's much, much cheaper. And within the AI, because we've designed it with sustainability experts alongside the AI team, you have a full ESG department at your fingertips.
Wow, that sounds incredible. So it is solving this big problem that people have had about measuring impact. As you say, now you're not looking back 6 months or a year. You are able to do this in real time. So the name of the app or the solution or the platform is Scoreboard, right?
Scoreboard.ai.
Okay. And sports agencies, or as you mentioned earlier, the different members that's part of is it only sports, or can anyone go in and use this?
Anyone can go in and use it, much like our impact story, where, yes, we use sport as the vehicle to tell the story. But in the sports ecosystem, you have banks, you have insurance companies, you have travel partners. So all of them, are committed to measure their emissions because the regulations are going to make them do that. You can go to the consultancy market, you can outsource the problem. That's essentially the only option has been today to do that. And it's expensive. Some of them are amazing, but they're costly. We felt that you needed a much, much more nimble solution. And clearly AI has increased the power dramatically that's actually enabled us to provide this. So that's really how it came about. Been developing like crazy in order to get it out in time to provide the solution as soon as the regulation came out.
For our listeners who might not have seen it, give us the address again, and then what would they need to do? How does it work? Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
So the address would be myscoreboard.ai, and you can go onto that page and you can just simply register, put in your details, and our management team will come straight back to you and essentially can then load you onto a platform. Normally, if you've got data, every business has got the data internally. It's where do you find it and how do you interpret it? So we can help you find it. So we've got AI expertise, let's say in finance or in marketing or in operations. You essentially have your AI helper working alongside you to go, right, let's look at marketing. What do we need to do? What communications can we put out? Work with somebody else. And that gives you a sort of learning experience. And frankly, many sustainability departments are populated by one person. And we wanted to build them much like a sports team a group of teammates that they can rely on and plug into 24/7. And that's what I think it will change the role of sustainability manager, because you're now empowered with expertise at your fingertips, and it makes you much more influential in the organization. And essentially, it makes your organization succeed more quickly.
I love that you've done this. You've taken something that can be so challenging, seems so difficult, so expensive, takes time, and you've made this solution that anyone can go on there. As you say, turns what used to take 90 days down into 90 minutes. And then it gives you a custom plan. How do you do better? What do you implement? It's an absolutely brilliant solution.
Again, we didn't want to leave them. Okay, we've measured it, so you've got your score. We can help you with your plan. So we've designed the plan based on what the data says. And actually, we don't want to leave you there. We want to actually help you execute it as well. And that's the bit which I think is probably different to anything else. I think that's what's unique, is we don't just count the numbers. We actually help you execute your plan. And we've had some amazing conversations with some big global event groups about they are getting asked for sustainability criteria around things like carpet. So how does a sustainability manager understand life cycle of a carpet, where its provenance is, where it's sourced? How do you dispose of it? That's a skill set that takes quite a long time to learn. You now got that at your fingertips. And that, I think, enables you to become much more comfortable in delivering what your goals are. And actually, if you think about sports events, which are clearly under pressure to decarbonise, we can very quickly help the event owners work with their suppliers to save money and decarbonise at the same time.
Absolutely brilliant. How can businesses or individuals get involved with Sport Impact or benefit from its initiatives moving forward?
This has been ongoing, and we've seen a sort of tidal wave of people joining this. So the first thing to do is we have a Sport Impact Declaration, which we signed with the Minister of Sport last December, which essentially it's you making a commitment to get better at sustainability. I mean, it's been fantastic. Dominic Thiem, the US Open champion, signed up to it. We've just had Watford Football Club sign up to it yesterday. And so international sports stars and athletes, as well as sports teams and businesses, are signing up to that. And essentially, it allows you to become part of our community. And then you become part of our knowledge centre. You can attend our events. That might be business networking events. It might be a summit. But you also, have all the digital support that goes with it. So the first place to go is sportimpactsummit.com and just request to sign up to the declaration, which is very quick and very easy. And then you're part of the team and part of the community.
Excellent. Very good. We have sort of touched on this. Beyond sports, where else do you see sport impact solutions and technology making a real world impact?
Having been around sustainability for a short period of time, 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot of technology talk. And I think that many of us sort of laymen have been waiting for some technology to solve the problem, frankly. And I don't think we're going to have time to do that. We need something that accelerates, whether it's a business or whether it's a sport. We need something that accelerates our journey, because there are many organizations, for example, that will have targets and goals and commitments for 2030. So how are they going to get there? And most of those commitments won't be sports organizations. Most of those commitments will be big business. The sands of time are running out as they approach a milestone many of them will have in their plans. And this platform can help them accelerate that. And also, I think it can help your internal team understand what your journey is, because one of the problems we've had is the sustainability manager or director may fully understand their journey. When they write their strategy and they put their plan together, their problem is how do they get buy-in from their colleagues? We've talked about this with McLaren, who openly said the most amazing annual sustainability report, probably the best in the industry. How many people actually read it? It's a big problem. I see the simplicity of the platform and the simplicity of what Sport Impact are doing around de-jargonizing space really helpful for engaging your colleagues, your internal stakeholders, and saying, come on, if we all do a little bit, we'll get much closer to our goals. And that doesn't matter whether you're in finance, whether you're in tech, whether you're in transportation. It is a team game. And that's probably the biggest message for us from Sport Impact.
Yeah, I love that you looked beyond sport and created a solution that all businesses can benefit from. It's a great business strategy, but also something that's going to be truly impactful for the planet. So you're checking all the boxes, which is Absolutely brilliant. Now, we can't finish off this segment without talking about the summit. So can you tell us a little bit about the Sport Impact Summit 2025?
Well, we're back into the planning phase. So, it's all getting exciting. We're, talking to global football teams and one of the most successful athletes in the world to come and, act as one of the honorary chairman. So we're hosting it in Abu Dhabi this year. So we're going to take it down the road. We are just finalising the exact date, but it's likely to be 9th, 10th of December in Abu Dhabi. So straight after the F1 Grand Prix. And yeah, I think it will be bigger. There'll be more outreach and more activation. And there'll be a whole series of events that we're doing in the region, from business networking, from masterclasses leading up to it. And these really kick off from early September. So yeah, there'll be a full media story that goes with it. And we'll keep everyone posted on what's happening next on the websites.
Excellent. Super exciting. You've got some busy months ahead of you, no doubt, but something really to look forward to. And again, you've given us the website where people can go and have a look if they want more information. And of course, we'll also put that in the show notes. Now we've come to our game show, our rapid fire questions. You ready for this one?
Yeah, let's go.
One word that defines Sport Impact 2025.
Community.
Your go-to sport to unwind.
Oh, mine's golf, I'm afraid. Has to be golf.
For sure. A tech trend in sustainability that you're most excited about.
I'm most excited about the impact of AI around human health.
A leader or change maker you look up to in the climate space.
That's a good question. There's a lot, actually. I'm going to say Fee Morgan at SailGP.
A dream speaker or partner for a future Sport Impact Summit.
Right, I've got one. Without giving too much away, I'm going to say Usain Bolt.
Oh, lovely. Very good. Well, thank you for playing along as last time. Pretty easy. Now I would like to ask you our signature green poll question. Could you share an inspiring or life-changing experience that you have gone through, your green poll moment?
Well, I think the one moment that kind of changed my journey and committed me to the sustainability space was actually just at the end of COVID, where we'd obviously been short of sport and short of entertainment. It was really understanding from somebody who lived and breathed the climate hedge funds world, who opened my eyes to what the opportunity could be. That was kind of the inspiration behind the origins of Sport Impact. And obviously, like all of these things, they take time to build. But that was an inspiring moment. And to have them on stage at the first Sport Impact Summit hosting a panel was kind of the sort of full circle for me. So I think that was probably it. And Dereka Karaskilo was probably the catalyst.
Thank you for sharing that experience with us. Sean, it's been a pleasure having you back. The work Sport Impact is doing is not only timely, but essential, especially as the UAE sets a regional benchmark for climate action.
It's been a great pleasure to be back and share some of the information. And, there's lots more to come. It does feel like we're at the beginning. We've got off the starting line and we've achieved some wins, but a long way to go.
Well, you're making a good impact already, doing a lot of good work. So thank you for that and well done on taking this initiative. Before we wrap up, can you tell our listeners where they can learn more about Sport Impact, about the summit, and also where to register interest for the 2025 summit, or where they can connect with you directly?
So the best place to register interest and to learn more about the summit will be the summit's website, which is sportimpactsummit.com. That gives you the opportunity to communicate directly with the team, ask any questions you've got, and we'll deal with you directly. It'll obviously include the agenda and who's participating as we go on and as they get announced. So that's that. For anyone wanting to connect directly, by all means, register at myscoreboard.ai. And I will definitely engage with you through that platform. And look forward to hearing from you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And we will put these links in the show notes as well. To our audience, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode. We'll see you next week with more inspiring conversations here on the Matrix Green Pill podcast.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.